Oh, crap. That was not what I wanted.
You're watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ghostfire Media's coverage of the AOLL Cup Series, round 2 of the chase with 8 drivers. We are at Chicagoland tonight, and with me, Josh Laston, is Mr. Carl Henderson.
Hey, man. Had a good laugh right there before we got going, so I'm still kind of giggling about that. But good to be here, man. I'm excited about this race. I really like this track.
There is no doubt that Chicagoland is a little bit different than everything else we run.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a curved backstretch. I mean, it's so bizarre. You're turning the entire time, really. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy running it. With these cars, it's wide open, too. Yeah, and as you point out, things to watch here, fuel mileage. We're at, if I'm not mistaken, I actually pulled it up, about 35 laps on a fuel run. Yeah, we'll have to see how that works out with cautions, because I think we could see some cautions today.
I do not deny that one bit, because right now we are starting to see everyone getting their laps out there. And right now, our pole sitter is Mr. Joshua Hanner.
Well, yeah, it's just because the good guys haven't run yet. I'm just kidding.
Mr. Justin Anderson's out there on track. We got Blake Gordon out there on track, even though everything moved the second I go to click on it. And there he goes up into third. And, of course, Mr. Justin Anderson takes over.
No real, and not just by a little bit either. Like, he was blazing fast.
Definitely, and I'm bringing this one up there because I have to, even if it's obscuring Blake's time there. But
yeah, you're the only one that still happens to. I don't know why.
I don't ask questions. I just nod head, say okay.
And hey, look, Sean Carmody just moved up in the 10th, and we were just talking before the broadcast. He connected to the practice session, I think, probably about 2 minutes before it ended. I think he got just 1 or 2 laps in. And just talking about how crazy talented the guy is. He can just show up, sit. He may have practiced on his own, but just show up and just set a decent qualifying time.
Well, as Mr. Joshua Hanner has dropped down to 6th, Joe Dinsmore takes over the 5th that he was already pushed down into. But this is... Some of these guys are looking at it as they absolutely need the win, because next week...
Oh, yeah.
Next week is going to be crazy.
In a lot of ways, in iRacing, again, this is something we've talked about before in all of the series we covered, just because of the nature of how netcode and all of that plays out. Like, short tracks end up being a lot like a super speedway in a lot of cases, in that they're a wild card, not necessarily for the winner. I think I can say with some degree of confidence that I would possibly pick Blake Gordon against the entire field at Martinsville.
Yeah, I was going to say, for those, we're talking Martinsville is where we head to this week, or next week. And this week we ended up coming to Chicagoland because while the Cup was at Kansas, in real life, we've already run that and they didn't want to double up on tracks, but we're still doing Martinsville next week, so I'm not 100% sure, but I absolutely love Chicagoland, personally. Yeah. It's way more fun than Kansas, in my opinion.
I actually like Kansas as well, but Chicagoland's a lot of fun. But yeah, I think with Martinsville next week, I think there are a lot of guys. There aren't guys necessarily looking at this as a must-win tonight, but there are a lot of guys looking at, I have to have a good finish tonight. I can't go out and finish like outside the top 10. I've got to get a top 10 because I don't know what's going to happen next week.
And as we have seen in many Ghostfire Media broadcasts across all the leagues, Martinsville can either just be a procession or it turns into a procession behind the pace car.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I mean, it's so difficult. Like, obviously self spins and things like that, that'll happen. That's stuff you can't avoid, but some of the things that are going to happen out there with, like, a little bit of contact here and there, it's going to be tough to avoid.
We're going to go ahead and bring up the grid as we were watching Steve Gottschalk looking to set a lap, and apparently he did not do it in time.
Whoops.
Yeah, that one, that's a little rough. So, in first, we have Greg Wellen, second, Brian McFerrin, third, Adam Wood, fourth, Justin Anderson, fifth, Joe Dinsmore, sixth, Kevin Pearson, seventh, Andrew Burgess, Joshua Hanner is in eighth, Mike Bass ninth, and Brandon Bernhardt in 10th.
In 11th, we have Blake Gordon. 12th, Ross Gage. 13th, Teddy Weichel. 14th is Ed Springer. 15th, Kevin Haas. 16th, Sean Carmody. 17th, Tony Pandon. 18th, Mike Burgess. 19th, Dan Witt. 20th, Randy Pepper.
And 21st is Steve Gottschalk, 22nd Guile Brooks, 23rd Dave Naughton, 24th is Jason Swan, and 25th is Timothy St. Jean.
Hey, can we actually go back to the top of that real quick? To the top of the grid?
Only for you.
Thank you. You know, it's really interesting to me here. Usually you see, like, in this series, in real life, like, you see the playoff guys, like, near the top. And, I mean, sure, there's a lot of guys here in the top 10, but, I mean, you've got two guys that aren't in the playoffs sitting first, second. You've got guys like Steve Gottschalk, you know, outside the top, I think he's outside the top 20, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Wasn't able to set a qualifying time. So, I mean, this is unusual. So I've got some guys, I mean, you know, Josh, you and I were talking before the race that, you know, Greg Welland, this is like, I said that I think this is his style of track.
Oh, without a doubt. And from what we've seen, unfortunately, he joined the league too late to make it into the chase. But this is the perfect track for him. It's technically an intermediate, but it is also faster than your average intermediate. And I would be putting my money on him to just run away with this, as the pace car is about to be diving in. We'll go to a nice wide shot for the start here, as there goes the pace car. And the green flag is waving, and they are off through this massively banked track. And Brian McFerrin is doing a great job on the outside, getting a push from his teammate of Justin Anderson. But it looks like that low line with Greg Welland and Adam Wood should be able to get clear. But Adam's being pushed down onto that low line, and that's not where you want to be to start this race.
Yeah, I'm going to have to let you handle this for just a second, Josh. I'll be right back.
Oh, not a problem. That just means I get to look through the chaos, as it looks like Blake Gordon is trying to drop down and cut as much of that track off as he can, dropping below the white line on the front stretch. But right now, our front is Greg Welland, Adam Wood, and Justin Anderson in the top three. Brian McFerrin is on that outside line, back and forth, but we can't discount the veteran of Joe Dinsmore right behind him. And Kevin Pearson has held on to his spot from the start, and he's going to have to sit there and hold off Joshua Hanner, who is up one position and looking to make a dive, as he does, getting down below, giving a little bit of a scare to Brandon Bernhardt right there. But he and Blake Gordon are on that low line coming into the front stretch, and we have a crash, but no yellow at this point.
I'm shocked that a yellow has not come, because Kevin Haas just stopped on the track.
Let's take a quick look and see what happens here. Oh, just rubs the wall, gets turned. I don't understand.
But then watch this. This is what's crazy about it. I guess, you know, the rest of the field wasn't anywhere near.
And yeah, you can't really get going on that banking.
No, that's tough right there.
He gets himself back going forward, but Kevin Pearson is right there on the bumper. And I got to jump back here as Blake Gordon and Joshua Hanner are battling it out. Blake's taking that low line that we know he loves to run. And he gets the pass done, but at what expense for his tires?
That's exactly what I've been wondering. You know, that's obviously wearing the tires out. I think Hanner's doing the smart thing here, looking at the big picture and realizing if the two of them are racing each other, then they aren't going to chase down these leaders.
No, but it looks like Brandon Bernhardt is actually starting to come under pressure from Andrew Burgess, but I'm jumping up to the front because we're starting to see a little bit of wild going on up here as they're actually catching Kevin Haas.
Yeah, look at all of. I mean, those guys know what they're doing. I mean, they were racing, and then they get up to Kevin Haas. It's like, all right, we're gonna line up, get around him, then we'll go back to racing.
As that is a whole lot of steel horse racing right now up at the front, and well, I mean, they're like a third of the field, so
Yeah,
they're but they are running their way up there and truly just running their race, as we see Greg Wellen end up going a little bit high, and that's looking like it's going to keep the door open for Adam Wood, but he slots in behind as Justin Anderson just had the door slammed shut on him. But
yeah, I mean, I'm looking throughout the field. There's racing going on all over the place.
Blake Gordon.
Hey, I want to call out someone. How about Mr. Steve Gottschalk, who didn't qualify and is up 7 spots since the start, running in 14th.
He's just working his way through, and we know that he is one of the faster guys. It's just unfortunate that the session cut off right as he was crossing the line, so he's got to make his way around. Dan Witt right now there in big red. But the other guy on the move right now is Blake Gordon, who has Joe Dinsmore in his sights.
Yeah, I mean, Blake's moving up through the field. I mean, he's up 5 spots. I mean, he is, you know, sometimes you see him, this happen where he'll not qualify well, and then the race starts, and suddenly he's just cutting through the field. He does not look like he's having any issue right now at all.
No, and right now Justin Anderson has gotten technically around Adam Wood. Technically.
Well,
they keep going.
We've seen. Yeah, I mean, Adam's someone who we've mentioned before, has been on a hot streak recently. I mean, qualified well tonight, running in 3rd currently. Obviously Adam's there with his teammate. He's going to be really respectful there. Yeah, I think Adam's been incredible these past few weeks, and I would not be surprised to see him get a win here in the next couple weeks.
Well, and it couldn't come at a better time given where we are in the playoffs. I just don't trust that he'll be able to keep himself clean at Martinsville. Because he has some of the absolute worst luck.
Yeah, it's mostly in the Truck Series, though, in the Sportsman Series. In the Cup Series, his luck hasn't been quite as bad.
Well, that much is true.
Oh, we got someone going around. Someone going around. If there is no caution. I am.
I didn't even see anything there.
It was someone hit the wall hard, and I'm trying to find out who it was.
Would that be Tony Pandon? Because he looks to be.
Could be Tony Pandon. It might be Kevin Pearson. I am trying to find out, but nothing showed up. No caution.
Yes, I'm going to assume that's Kevin Pearson because I see a ton of passes for him. And let's see. Oh, perfectly timed. So that was right here. And I'm not exactly sure what just happened there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Hanner was there. There was no contact there. That was netcode. That's wow. That's well, that wasn't good. I hate seeing netcode happen like that. Obviously, Kevin Pearson got the raw end of the deal on that one.
Well, I've got to go back up here because I got to figure out how Justin Anderson.
Oh, we missed it. Oh,
got this pass done. Let's take a quick jump back. Just has the low line. Greg is saving those tires, and Justin.
I was about to say, we've seen this before. This is a story we've seen where Greg will be a little bit more conservative, and then he'll come back stronger later. So we'll have to see if that's the case this time.
Well, and he's led every lap so far. And getting into the draft will probably end up giving him some help as we go through this race and through this stint specifically. Having that draft will maybe be able to get him another lap, as you're saying roughly 30 laps?
I think closer to 35. Let me pull that up again, just to confirm that, see if any of it changed as practice went on. But last I checked, it was 35, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I'm jumping back here as the closest cars we have on track are Joshua Hanner and Brandon Bernhardt. Hanner gets down onto the low line, coming into the front stretch, drops all the way down to that yellow line to cut as much of the track out as he can. And it looks like he's actually going to have some issues getting around Brandon Bernhardt, and that's going to leave the door open for Andrew Burgess unless he tries to slot up in there. And there is not room for it.
Yeah, I actually might be a little short of 35 laps. I think we're going to be closer to like maybe 32, but in the draft it could be a little bit more.
And so, again, that could just be his game plan right now, as Joshua Hanner is stuck on that low line and has lost the position to Andrew Burgess. If I'm in his shoes, I'm just going to go ahead, back off, slot in behind, and live to fight another day.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you got to do. But I'm here, you know, I'm watching Greg Welland, Justin Anderson. You know, yeah, Greg's behind now, but he is matching Justin Anderson's laps almost identical. And what that tells me is, you know, obviously he has the draft. So what that tells me is that he is letting out more in the corners and then regaining it on the straightaway. That's more than likely what's happening here. It's a strategy I used to beat you at it. Oh, and caution's out.
Has
no idea why.
It looks like Jason Swan. I'm waiting for it, but let's jump here to the. Oh,
that's
was
Jason Swan and Teddy Weichel.
That was definitely the moment. And I'm not. Oh, that's a bad spotter call right there for
Jason Swan. Yeah, I think he thought he was clear and was just riding up, and position was taken.
Sometimes those digital spotters aren't the best.
No, they are not.
So let's head back live and to our leaders who have caught the pace car. I'm coming in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think at this point, I mean, we just had a 21 lap run. You know, you're not going to be able to make another 21 laps on fuel, much less tires. You've got to come in at this point.
Well, I'm not even sure if tires are going to be what's necessary here, but I would say that just about everybody is going to be making their way in.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, they have lost some time on track. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, they are, you know, probably about 2 seconds slower per lap on those older tires. However, they get 3 additional sets of tires, so there's a question of when do you want to use them.
And it looks like Ross Gage, Blake Gordon did not take them.
Ross, there's a chance that Ross missed his pit stall. It's showing his pit time as
0.
0.
Yes. But definitely Mr. Blake Gordon did not. His pit time was only 7.13 seconds as he's...
Hey, his teammate, Sean Carmody, looks to have done the same thing, is now up to 8. So some clever pit strategy. I mean, look, they gained some track position here. They are almost certainly going to lose it because they are going to be slower, but they also saved themselves a set of tires.
And with only 3 sets of tires, we are not within the window that they would need. And that's going to give them fresh rubber at the end, because if we're talking, what, 30-ish laps?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't think that this caution is going to be an isolated incident tonight.
Well, yeah, you know, and I'm going back and forth on that because that opening run, usually we'll usually have some cautions early in the race, and it'll be guys working the jitters out, and then it'll kind of smooth out for a little bit. And that opening run went better than I expected. But that being said, there were several incidents that possibly should have gotten a caution and didn't. So who's to say that the iRacing program deciding whether or not it's going to throw a caution, it may be a little more cruel later on, and this run we may have something very similar, and it decides to throw the caution.
I do not understand the logic that was created.
Yeah.
I don't think many people do.
No. I mean, well, it used to be pretty simple. Like, I mean, at least it seemed to be. I mean, if you had someone on track who was stopped, it would usually throw it. Now, I know there were some calculations with where the positioning of the other cars were and all of that, but it's clear that iRacing's gotten more conservative in throwing cautions, which I do appreciate to a degree. But there are times it's missing them.
Oh, it misses them more than I care to admit to.
Well, we know that how you feel about that.
Well, yes. But
so
we are forming up to go green this next time around. Everybody has at least one stop under their belt, but Blake Gordon right now is starting on that front row he is a sitting duck right now. He is, I mean, he's gonna pull off. He's gonna have a decent little jump, and then once we get up to speed, these guys are gonna fly past him, I think. But he's hoping at the end he's gonna be the only guy with fresh rubber.
Yeah, no, I mean, this could work out really well for him. What he needs are cautions. Like, cautions need to happen for this strat, and cautions need to happen near the end of the race for this to work out really well.
Well, I'm not hoping for that. So,
no.
As much as I would love to see Blake win on an intermediate.
Well, he won on an intermediate last week, so he's already got that off of his back. So let's let someone else win.
I would love to see a non-chase driver get it. Personally,
we'll see what happens.
But we are under, and Blake gets himself off to a good jump. He's going to have that low line. He's floating up just a little bit. I'm not sure why he didn't just hug that low line like Justin Anderson is. But
yeah, here they come.
And here comes the freight train.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw the comment from Johnny, but we do not have any car sounds right now.
I think we were just so far away from the cars at that point, and they weren't revved up that...
Okay, well, yep. Johnny, just let us know, or anybody else let us know if you're hearing the cars now. We'll try to keep an eye on that.
As Blake is trying to put a move on Justin Anderson, does not get himself down far enough, and again, the freight train is ready to continue.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to continue. I mean, he's going to shuffle back to near the end of the field, I think. But he went into that knowing this. The only thing I think of is if this wasn't a planned strategy, he may have thought more people were going to go fuel only, and it didn't work out for him.
And it's unfortunate because that is going to give Adam Wood the lead.
Did you say it's unfortunate because it gives Adam Wood the lead?
Oh, no, I'm just... see that Adam is currently in first, and it just completely threw off my train of thought.
Well, I mean, again, it is blowing my mind how much Adam Wood out of nowhere has just suddenly shown up. But Adam Wood running really well right now.
I'm actually very curious how much of it is the move to Steel Horse Racing and the support team that comes along with it, to where right now he's got, with the exception of Greg Wellen, top four, all teammates.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it's one of those things where teammates help a lot. I mean, it's not just in terms of like, on track. It's just knowing. Look, I mean, he's able to run up there and know for a fact that Justin Anderson is obviously going to race him. As we switch here to the Brandon Bernhardt roll bar camera, Justin's going to race him, and I'm not saying that Justin's not going to race everybody clean, but you're confident knowing like, hey, like I've got a guy back here who's not going to be putting me in a bad spot.
Without a doubt, and this is going to be the confidence boost that Adam, I'm not going to say needs, but getting out there, getting the bonus points for leading some laps, comfortably knowing that your teammate isn't going to push too hard to get around at this point, I should say. Not saying he won't push hard soon enough.
Well, I'll tell you something that's interesting right now. If we can drop back to 6th place with Josh Hanner, I'm not sure what's going on, but he almost seems a bit like a roadblock right now. If we switch to the blimp camera, I think we'll really show it. He's got like a bunch of guys stacked up behind him.
As Dan Witt gets the boot down onto the grass from, was that Steve Gottschalk? Or was that Ed Springer?
I'm taking a look here, seeing if I can see. Oh, it looks like Ed came down just a little bit. Those are teammates, I believe. So
let's just take a quick look, and 3 wide.
Oh, no, Dan came up. Yep, that isn't what it looked like from the blimp view, but that is absolutely what happened. Dan floated up a little bit there.
Oh, but we go back to this blimp, and yeah, it looks like Josh Hanner. Brandon Bernhardt thinks about going in hot, but gets a little bit offline, and that gives Brian McFerrin the opportunity to really try and make something happen.
Hanner is way off pace from the leader, so there is one. We know he was fast at the start, so one of a few things is happening right now. Either he took some damage with that netcode incident earlier and it's affecting him, or he is just not that fast on this set of tires. Maybe he just has not adjusted well after the tire change and just.
As we get a great shot of what is a yellow flag, and that looks like Ed Springer.
Looks like Steve Gottschalk from St. Jean involved as well.
Let's take a quick look let me get to a different camera here.
That one would have been good if it were just a little bit further down.
Oh, Ed just comes down. Let's take and go to the roll bar on that. It looks like he may have tagged the wall. No, just gets loose coming out of the corner, gets the rear tire of Steve Gottschalk, and
yeah, that might have been one of those things where he was realizing he was about to hit the wall and gave it a little too much wheel. That's rough for Gottschalk. He was already sitting outside of the top 4, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to be a serious hurt to his playoff chances.
Well, and this is definitely one of the weirder things that you end up seeing with iRacing, as everybody's diving into the pits.
Not everybody. Adam Wood stayed out.
I wonder if this is another one of those times that his teammates decided to not warn him.
Well, that's what happens when you're one of the new teammates. It's just a little hazing.
As Justin Anderson ends up beating Greg Wellen out.
Oh, hey, Adam's not out there by himself. Randy Pepper stayed out as well. So we get the Ghostfire Media crew up there, going to be on the front row on this restart.
As Randy may have been a lap down, so he wasn't allowed to come into the pits quite yet.
Is he a lap down? No, it's showing he's on the lead lap for me.
And no, just decided to go ahead and stay out. But this is where
He's helping Adam out. That's all he's doing. He's just hanging out. He's gonna. Oh, and actually, he's coming in the pits. He decided maybe. I don't know what Randy's doing.
I don't think even Randy knows right now. No, he's making his way into the pits. That's the right call. But the one thing we do need to note, there were very few people who took tires on that stop. One of them being Mr. Blake Gordon, who comes out in 18th because of that.
But he's got that fresh rubber now, and now, I mean, sure,
he's
those
in
guys,
15th as they're passing the guys that ended up going into the pits later.
Yeah, so I mean, even though the other guys, saved a set of tires, he saved his earlier. So I mean, he's got the same number of tires they do, but he's able to go out there and go full out now.
Yeah, as we out there, Mr. John Gordon says, you know what? It is early in the race, and we know how much, Carl, you love it when people try weird strategies. So. Oh
yeah, I absolutely adore it. I think Adam was hoping that some other people would stay out with him because, again, I mean, he would have had it's gonna be tough for him to do anything with nobody staying out with him. And if we stay green for a long period of time, and he has to pit under green, this could work out very poorly for him.
But the one thing he does have as an advantage, he's lighter than all the other cars because he has a few laps worth of fuel burned off at this point.
Yeah, I mean yeah,
he's 14 laps lighter in terms of fuel, and we're on lap 37, and this is the second caution.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he is going to be a little bit lighter. On the stock cars, it doesn't matter as much as something like an Indy car. But yeah, it makes an impact. Same tire wear as the guys behind him, but they have more fuel. So if we can get a caution in like 10 laps, this worked out great for him because at that point those guys are going to come in still. But man, when you're leading the race, I don't know wing like that. I think I would have come in and at least taken fuel.
Your ID
is 1.
At this point, oops, forgot that I still have DRE open from running an official earlier.
But it's honestly it's easy for me to make those kind of proclamations in hindsight. I mean, it's when you're out there, you don't know what everybody else is going to do. You're going to think, oh well, everybody's going to stay out because we were just in. And then people come in. So you got to go with what your mind's telling you at the time and your gut's telling you, and sometimes it's wrong.
Well, let's go ahead and take this opportunity as they're coming to green. We're going to go quiet and just listen to the roar of these V8s go. And we are back as Justin Anderson getting real racy around Adam Wood. He was not about to sit there and wait. Drops down below and has Greg Wellen and Joshua Hanner in tow on that low line as Greg flirts with popping up. But we're starting to see a bit more of a hornet's nest this time around than we were seeing the last time.
Yeah, well, look, one of the Hornets' nests, I would say the Hornet is Blake Gordon right now, shooting through the field with those fresh tires.
So are you saying that Blake Gordon right now is the queen bee?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that. He's about to take it 3 wide here. We're going 3 wide, and shouldn't be a problem here, but yeah, they make it work, no problem. Hanner backs out, and I think Blake Gordon's going to have this lead pretty soon.
I do not doubt that as he is coming up right on Joe Dinsmore. Drops down. Joe shuts the door on him. but he's in an Endeavor sandwich right now, and Blake is not going away. He's using that fresh rubber, getting all those good laps out of the good years now.
Yeah. No, you got to use them while you got them. And I'll tell you what, that move hurt Joe Dinsmore right there, because now not only did he get passed by Blake Gordon, but he got passed by Brandon Bernhardt, and it looks like Josh Hanner's going to be able to get around him. Possibly, we'll have to see.
Well, he's going to have that outside line where he's going to be able to carry plenty of momentum. Joe gets it on the inside of the turns, and it looks like he may have had to have checked up ever so slightly to hold that car in place. But Sean Carmody, who also has new tires after that pit stop, he's trying to take advantage just like his teammate.
Well, now Blake Gordon's currently passing for the second position. He's battling with Adam Wood. And, I mean, I have to imagine he's going to make this pass fairly soon, and he's got Justin Anderson in his sights.
So, a normal week.
Well, yeah. These two up front is something we see all the time. But, I think this is a good view here. I think I want to see how quickly he can get around them, because this fresh rubber is making a difference. Blake Gordon is about a half-second faster per lap.
And right on the bumper, getting that low line and getting the pass done without any hesitation. That strategy is paying massive dividends right now.
And honestly, fantastic racecraft out of Justin Anderson there. You know, he could have battled for that position a little bit more, possibly. I mean, it's hard to say with such a full head of steam, but I think Justin Anderson was very courteous there and realized that, you know, it's more than just this lap in this race.
Yes, and he recognized that Blake Gordon was definitely faster than him, as we're just from his rear bumper just watching him pull away in the corners. Justin can battle back ever so slightly in the straights, but not
for now.
Once
He's got a half. I was going to say a half second, but it's now approaching 3/4 of a second. Once he gets to a second gap, then that advantage on the straightaways is going to go away.
Well, I wanted to jump back here because we're starting to see a little bit of action going on behind Adam Wood, where he's got a solid line of cars right behind him waiting for, unfortunately, that inevitable early pit stop, as we were actually seeing Sean Carmody get himself around his teammate of Brandon Bernhardt. Again, fresh tires are king right now.
And still running that all black paint scheme. Sean, please change that. I mean, as long as only one car is doing it, I can live with it.
Or at least add numbers that we can see. That's all we ask. But again, since you're the only one running it right now, it makes it a little easier on us. But he has immense speed in comparison to the guys in front of him.
Yeah, when I talk about like doing a different strategy, what Blake Gordon and Sean Carmody did is what I am always talking about. And it's easy for me to say that because it worked. And if it hadn't worked, I wouldn't be talking about it right now. But no, that's exactly like changing up your strategy so that it benefits you later in the race. Honestly, Adam Wood's strategy may not end up being that bad. We'll have to see if caution comes out. If it doesn't, he might be in trouble.
Oh, John, we're just messing with him. He's more than happy to keep that car. Again, as long as he's the only one running it and it's not a super speedway where we can never tell which Endeavor car it is, we're fine.
Yeah.
But he gets the job done on Greg Wellen to move himself up into fourth, well, temporarily. But Brandon Bernhardt is looking to use that extra momentum that Sean has to try to pull him up on that low line. But Adam Wood has also fallen victim, and he's right on that bumper, looking to make sure he cannot get away too quickly. But he's now setting his sights on Justin Anderson, and he's not that far ahead.
Hey, I'm gonna ask everyone out there, watching right now. Same thing I ask every broadcast, because we love fan interaction. Let us know who you're cheering for tonight. I know our #1 Justin Anderson fan, John Gordon's, hoping that Justin can get back up around that villainous Blake Gordon.
Who has pulled out to such a lead at this point that even from the blimp, there is no Justin.
Well, we might get a Justin caution. Let us know who you're cheering for tonight. Love hearing from the fans. If John Gordon says he's driving the mail car, it's slow. Johnny's cheering for Adam and Joe. We love hearing that. We know we got a lot of viewers out there that are a lot of times quiet on socials. And if you're watching, let us know who you're cheering for. And this also applies to the guys who watch the race afterwards. I know guys out there racing will watch it. Tell us if you're cheering for yourself in hindsight, or if you're cheering for someone else.
Well, I wanted to come back and get on the bumper of Justin Anderson. Sean Carmody has a half a second back at this point, and it is slowly going away. And they have all pulled. So there is such a gap right now between Sean Carmody that this strategy, Sean, who did not qualify, is up 13 points.
Yeah.
Is now comfortably in third.
Yeah, I mean, Blake Gordon's up 10 spots, which isn't a huge surprise to us. And, I mean, Steve Gottschalk up 11 spots from the start, despite that issue that he had earlier with Ed Springer. Gottschalk with a heck of a recovery, running really good right now.
Unfortunately, I jumped back to highlight Adam Wood losing another position.
Yeah.
But Greg Wellen running fantastically on these old tires. I think we're going to have to see Adam Wood, who's trying to fight back right now. He's not far away from pit lane.
Yeah, it's got to be coming. It's inevitable at this point that, if you want to pull up the pit strategy widget, we'll take a look at it here. And, Adam's is that 24 laps? Yeah.
He's at 34.
Oh, 34, man. It's a little compressed. That's he's got to be coming in real soon. Some of those were caution laps, but I think in the next lap or two, Adam Wood will be coming in the pit.
As Joe Dinsmore is right there on the bumper of Adam Wood, I'm wondering if that's going to end up forcing Adam to try to stay out another lap, because if he doesn't have the space to get down to pit lane.
Yeah, well, hopefully he's communicating there and letting him know he must have another lap. But, I was saying that Adam needed a caution to come out, but now if he has to pit, he's hoping for no cautions. He wants to stay green. He
wants this thing green for another 20 laps, while everybody else needs to cycle out, because he does not want to be trapped a lap down. But I got to jump back. We've got another nest brewing here of Brandon Bernhardt, who has gotten around Joe Dinsmore, and Joshua Hanner is also there, but these guys are seemingly faster than Adam Wood right now. I'm wondering if he was conserving. Well, I would say less conserving. He was fighting a little too hard to hold on to that position, and now his tires have equalized with these guys that have pitted for fuel already.
Yeah, I mean, my theory is that he's conserving. What could have possibly happened is a lot of times, you get on your fuel meter and it'll show, you have 1.9 laps remaining. It's like, well, I want to make it 2 laps, so you just back off just a little bit and make it 2 laps instead of having only 1 lap.
Well, as Blake Gordon comes around one more time to the halfway point of this race, he currently has 2.7 seconds of a gap running out there in clean air.
But one thing I am shocked about, I really thought Sean Carmody was going to catch Justin Anderson, but it is not happening. I mean, well, Anderson now has a 2.5 lead, and it's growing.
Well, Sean had to work through significantly more traffic than Blake did. So he definitely got those Goodyears a little bit warmer than normal. So he's probably just having to fight it a little bit more.
Yeah, and Johnny Downey just said in the comments you can get 40 laps on a tank. Yeah, I was basing my information on VRS data, from the drivers that are out there, and it was showing about 34 laps. Had a feeling in a draft it would be longer. I didn't think they'd be able to stretch it to 40 laps. If that's the case, then VRS's data was drastically wrong.
Well, I'm not saying it's perfect, but right now we are actually 3 wide with Joshua Hanner, Adam Wood, and Kevin Haas, who is having a stellar drive tonight, up 8 positions, but squeezing Joshua Hanner up as much as he can, getting up into 7th position right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, with them being that tight right now there, obviously there isn't a problem with that. I'm not trying to insinuate like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, but we were very fortunate that Netcode didn't rear its head there, because they were tight there at the entry of that corner.
Well, but let's go ahead and just look back. Steve Gottschalk didn't qualify, had an incident, and is currently running in 10th and looking like he's going to get 9th from Adam Wood. As Adam drops down right in front of him. I have a feeling Mr. Adam Wood is prepping for pit entry right now.
Yeah, I have to think he is.
That is the case. So right now, Adam, who gets, that's going to be a penalty.
Oh.
That's my job. That's my job. Pit road entry is mine to screw up.
Well, yeah, that's unfortunate. But honestly, I mean, I feel like he did something like that a few weeks ago and didn't get penalized for it. But that may have just been one tire that time, and tonight it was more than just one tire.
But
and Justin Anderson in as well.
Oh, quit moving down the list. As Justin Anderson looking to throw that wrench in there and see if maybe he can get Blake to follow, because it's going to be 2 stops from here on in anyway. Why not go now?
We've seen this
as we're
over and over again.
See, a lot of people are going to make that call, but Blake is roughly 2 seconds down from his fastest lap on the last lap. So Justin making that dive in now may actually give him a massive advantage going forward.
Yeah, I'm honestly kind of surprised Blake Gordon didn't follow him in there. It's something we've seen over and over with Justin Anderson, short pitting, and then Blake following shortly thereafter. But I think, at this point he's just he's got the slightly fresher tires. He not gonna be fresher anymore, but I think he's just trying to take advantage of the clean air while he can.
And right now, looking at this battle currently for 3rd between Greg Wellen and Brandon Bernhardt, with Kevin Haas coming to join the party. And these guys were swapping back and forth according to timing and scoring, but it looks like some of these guys may have ended up saving their tires pretty well, to where, look at Kevin Haas, he's able to make that low line work for him, and has great speed right now, as Joe Densmore goes to jump down behind him just a little bit, because you can take that low line, as Joshua Hanner is looking to follow the top line, leave Kevin Haas out to dry, and that looks like it's the case. But ooh, Joshua Hanner gets the nose down below Joe Densmore going into the front stretch, has the draft, And he's going to be alongside going into the corner, have the low and shorter line. Will he be able to get up in front of him coming out of turn 2?
Well, I mean, it looks like he's got the speed right now. We'll have to see if he can pull it off here.
Well, but Joe, the guys in front of him are giving him the draft, so Hanner is going to have to tuck back in, and there's Justin Anderson while a lap down coming to join the fight, and it's not going to really be a fight.
Yeah, look at those fresh tires. That's a huge advantage.
And Justin Anderson trying to get his lap back before possibly any kind of caution or the next pit cycle from the guys in front of him, who are, well, 1, 2, and 3 right now are Endeavor.
Yeah, it's clear there. Oh, Randy Pepper
has
no
had
caution
issue. Okay, that's not what I wanted. As we're starting to see more people pit, making it to where, he had issues getting onto pit lane.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Essentially locks him up just like Adam did, and
oh, that's not a crash.
well, it kind of is.
Yeah, we're good.
But we are seeing the next wave of pit stops, but Blake Gordon nearly 7 seconds in front of second place right now. And the first man a lap down is Justin Anderson, who is not far behind him.
Can you pull up the pit strategy thing again?
Oh, of course I can.
Thank you. So we're at, if we can go 40 laps, these guys have got to be pitting soon, real soon. Blake Gordon's in.
As I'm somewhat surprised that his teammates have not joined him in that process, but
well, Sean did.
Brandon Bernhardt is going to get a lap lead, and I would assume he's going to be in on this next lap.
That is probably exactly why he stayed out. He needs that bonus point since he is still a playoff contender.
And every point is going to count, as yes, he makes his way in, and that's going to give Joe Dinsmore the lead of this race and his first lap lead, followed by Brian McFerrin and Jason Swan up 20 positions, currently running in third. And he was another one involved in an early incident, really making a push back.
Yeah, we got Greg Welland, Josh Hanner, Brandon Bernhardt in the pits.
As Joe Dinsmore also drops in, and that's going to give Brian McFerrin the lead of this race. And I don't see how he and Jason Swan, who's about 2 seconds behind him, are going to give him. They're not going to be able to make it one more lap, I would assume.
I don't think they will be able to. They have to be pitting.
Well, as Brian takes that low line and gets himself down, I won't say that pit road entry here is difficult.
Yeah, it is.
But it is not the easiest.
It takes. I mean, there are many tracks that are much more difficult than this one, but you got to practice it.
As this is, once he comes around, Justin Anderson is going to be the leader of this race, with Blake Gordon 4 seconds behind him right now, but lapping slower, actually.
Yeah. That actually, not according to mine. It's showing that Blake Gordon is significantly faster than Justin.
Oh, never mind. That was just updated.
Yep. So yeah, I think. I mean, honestly, I feel like this is a story we've seen before, over and over. Justin Anderson pits early, gets the lead back, has a big old lead, and then Blake Gordon just eats away at it. He's got it done 3.5 seconds now. You can see it right there, just dropping, plummeting. It's like watching my stock portfolio.
Well, you should stop investing in NFTs.
It's all GameStop, baby.
Oh, well, there you go. Same general concept.
Yeah, but now Blake Gordon back 3 seconds now. He's going to take over the lead of this race again. But it's just going to come down, I think, to timing on that final pit stop is what's going to really determine who wins this race. That's assuming we don't have cautions.
And right now, it looks like if Blake is already cutting into this lead like he is, it's going to be Blake Gordon who ends up being the one to get that win.
Well, yeah, again, if nothing else changes, I mean, but look, these races are all about change and adapting to it. And, I mean, we've got 40 laps to go still. There is a lot that can change, and just one caution can absolutely change the complexion of this race.
Well, as we're on the Brandon Bernhardt roll bar camera, we're starting to see that car in front of Blake Gordon. That is Justin Anderson, and it's closing in quick.
Yeah, I mean, we're down to a second and a half now. I mean, I honestly wasn't expecting him to be this much faster, but Justin Anderson may be conserving a little bit as well. This is something you see all the time where driver up front's like, hey, I'm not going to push it too hard right now because when you get to me, you have to pass me, and I'm going to save my tires for that.
Well, I'm going to jump back here as Steve Gottschalk is currently making the pass for third place. Making his way on up through all the chaos. And
yeah, we've talked about Justin Anderson and Blake Gordon and their pit strategies. I mean, Gottschalk kind of went in the middle. Anderson went 65, Blake Gordon went 73, he went 67. So he's on a different pit strategy from both of those guys. So we're going to kind of see he's faster than Justin Anderson right now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, a little bit faster than Justin Anderson, slower than Blake Gordon, but he was able to make up ground by short pitting.
And right now, going under the bumper of Justin Anderson, and well, that was useless for all of 10 seconds.
Yeah, my theory about Justin saving there, that was obviously not the case. Blake Gordon is just that much faster on those fresh tires right now.
Well, and here is the big thing, is right now Justin Anderson can follow the bumper of Blake Gordon, use the draft for as long as he can, because we're winding down. We're at about 35 laps left at this point, 36 to be specific. But yeah, I would say that he could use that draft, but
it's not going to last long enough. If you have someone that's about equal to you on speed, you can utilize that draft to both save fuel and to save your tires, because you can let out a little bit more in the corners, not drive it so hard. You lose some time in the corners, but then make it up on the straightaways. That's not going to be the case here, because once he falls outside of about 1 second, he's no longer going to have that draft.
Well, and I'm going to make a quick jump back here into third as Greg Wellen has gotten himself up on very fresh tires to try to get himself up into that battle for second. And that just left Steve Gottschalk, who has 7 lap older tires, in the grips of Kevin Haas, who only has 2 lap newer tires at this point, but definitely looking to be this faster car.
Yeah, Kevin Haas is feeling it tonight, isn't he? I mean, he is. It's clear that he is liking the way this track is racing and having a heck of a night.
But he's also not safe from Brandon Bernhardt, who is right on his bumper, 5 lap newer of tires, and on that last lap, 4/10 faster as he gets to the outside, and most likely going to make this look easy coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's going to take that long. There it is right there. No problem for Brandon Bernhardt.
But that's going to put Steve Gottschalk on watch, because he's close enough to get that draft. And with the fresher tires, because they're 7 lap fresher than Steve Gottschalk.
Yeah, this shouldn't be a problem here. It should be academic. It's one of those things. It's kind of like a delayed payment type thing, right? You short pit, you gain a lot of positions on track, which is awesome because you didn't have to pass anybody to do it. But you're gonna have to pay the price later when those guys have fresher tires and they come back around you.
Well, as we are starting to see Brandon right on that bumper. Taking the high line, he's going to get a great run, get himself back in the draft, have a lot more speed because he's got about 2 miles an hour more on him. And Steve is dedicating himself to that bottom line, and we're seeing Brandon, with that extra momentum, get himself up along the top.
Yeah, honestly, Gottschalk's holding him off better than I expected him to be able to. But Brandon Bernhardt should be able to complete the pass here, I think.
Yeah, he 100%. Steve decides to not keep the fight going, get himself into that draft, and the next person in front of him is Randy Pepper with that unbelievably unmistakable car in front of him.
Yeah, and I'm looking right now at lap times, and the differential between Blake Gordon and Justin Anderson has narrowed a little bit. But also with Greg Wellen and Brandon Bernhardt, those guys are just a hair faster than Justin Anderson, so they might not be able to run him down this pit cycle. I think the tires possibly evened out a little bit.
Well, we're starting to see those guys that waited to go into the pits. Joshua Hanner, Joe Dinsmore, both on Hanner at lap 74, Joe at lap 75, start to catch these guys in front that were pitting in the 60s.
Yeah, and I mean, you would expect they're going to be significantly faster, but again, it may have taken them just a little too long to get here as their tires, they've had to use up a little bit of that speed and use up a little bit of that rubber, so the differential isn't going to be as big as if they had gotten there earlier.
Well, we are starting to see the first wave of short pitters make their way in. Teddy Weichel, Tony Pandon, Andrew Burgess, Ed Springer, Dan Witt, and Mike Burgess have all gone into the pits.
And I think it's brilliant for all of them. You have an opportunity here to gain some positions. You haven't had a ton of speed tonight, and whoa, someone else, Gottschalk's coming in.
And I think that's the right call for him.
Yep.
As we're seeing Joshua Hanner right on the bumper of Randy Pepper, Joe Dinsmore following him. Those two are probably going to be unwilling teammates going forward here, working together to get themselves closed up on Brandon Bernhardt, who's nearly a second in front of them at this point.
I'll tell you what, I am actually surprised that we didn't see some people come in there, because I expected Gottschalk coming in would kind of force some of the leaders' hands, but they're holding steady, not coming in the pit yet.
Well, I'm going to say that Mr. Justin Anderson saw what those fresh tires did for Blake Gordon. He's going to run it dry so he can just run the snot out of those Goodyears.
Well, and there's a huge fear with short pitting if you're one of these playoff guys, because you short pit and a caution comes out and you are in bad trouble. Whereas, sure, you might lose some positions on track if you stay out, but you're not likely to, suddenly fall back to a lap down.
Well, right now we have Blake Gordon coming up on some lap traffic, which is going to give him a bit of an advantage. But Justin Anderson has roughly 10 more laps worth of fuel, whereas Blake has 18.
Yeah, I think. Oh, Justin's coming in. Justin Anderson coming in. I was about to say. I mean, the last thing you want to do is absolutely run it dry, and then you and Blake Gordon come in at the same time, because then you're not going to catch him. You've got to short pit him a little bit, but you just don't want to short pit him so much that he can take it back later. So
well, let's see if Blake is willing to throw caution into the wind with 24 left to go, realizing that Justin was close to him as Joshua Hanner dives into the pits as well. I saw smoke.
if I'm Blake Gordon, I'm staying out. Like, I mean, he's already locked into the next round. Stay out, and oh, it looks like Randy Pepper went around in the infield, or maybe that's on the backstretch. But no, I mean, stay out at this point. I think it's worked well for you. If the strategy's working, don't change it.
As it looks like there is the possibility Justin Anderson is not the first car a lap down. Mike Bass, who was just passed by Blake Gordon, is the first car down. So if a caution comes out right now, that is not going to work out in Justin Anderson's favor.
Well, I mean, look, if a caution came out, then Justin Anderson's strategy is not going to be good anyways, but he's about to get around Mike Bass here, so, should put him the first car a lap down, lucky dog position, as long as Blake Gordon doesn't put anybody else a lap down.
And we're seeing is bring back up the track map because cars are everywhere. There's no packs really too heavy.
Hey, can you switch that to car numbers? I don't know why that decided to switch.
Because I clicked the wrong button, that's why.
I'll do it.
Bringing it back up. But right now, Tony Pandon, followed by Steve Gottschalk and Teddy Weichel. This little pack right here is the closest battle we have on track. And then also, actually, if we go here, Joshua Hanner is leading a pack of 5 cars, all on varying lap-old tires, with Hanner having the newest, followed by Kevin Pearson, who has 4 laps older, Kevin Haas with 2, Andrew Burgess with 6.
Yeah, Blake Gordon's in. Blake Gordon is coming in. Our leader's in, so that's going to cycle out Greg Welland to the lead.
And his last stop was 74, so
he's got to be coming soon.
He is hoping for that incident that will maybe make it to where he can get a free stop.
Oh. Was he about to come in the pit there and just messed it up?
I could not tell you, but definitely the speed he's at. He was thinking about it, and that's going to open up the door for these guys to get their lap back, led by Dan Witt and Steve Gottschalk. That hurts.
Yeah, and honestly, that's one of those reasons why I usually try not to run it absolutely dry. I always try to leave an extra lap because you never know, you might mess things up. And rather than try to force it down in there, you just keep going and just try it again the next time by.
And that's going to bring Brian McFerrin into the lead of this race again, getting passed by that previous pack. That's Joshua Hanner, who's apparently just taking off. He is the first guy on the lead lap, or the last guy on the lead lap right now. And a few more: Kevin Haas, Kevin Pearson, and most likely soon to be Andrew Burgess.
So once all these guys pit, Justin Anderson's going to be our leader, and Blake, he'll be followed by Blake Gordon. And Blake's going to be about 3 seconds behind Justin, and he has 5-lap fresher tires. If nothing else changes, this strategy has worked out perfectly for Blake Gordon. But to be honest, it hasn't worked out bad for Justin Anderson. I mean, it would still get him a solid finish, which he needed after last week.
And to be fair, Justin is running clean air, whereas Blake Gordon, right now, as it takes a second for the camera to catch up, has some lap traffic that's duking it out in front of him.
Yeah, look, he's going to get through that, but we've seen over and over that 5-lap differential, what a difference it has made. And I think it's going to be no different here. We're going to see Justin, I think, fight a bit more, because obviously he's not going to get another opportunity unless a caution comes out. So he's got to treat it like it's the end of the race and try to fight him off when he gets there.
Well, there is it is 4 seconds between Blake Gordon and Justin Anderson right now.
It's narrowing, though. It is narrowing in a hurry.
Well, but Blake also has cars to draft off of to get that top speed, whereas Justin may not. But by the time Blake gets himself into that clean air, I have a feeling that 5-lap differential is going to be narrowed significantly.
Oh, yeah. I think, Justin Anderson's out there, being able to take it easy, drive the line he wants. I think there's still going to be a differential, and we can look at lap times and see it. I mean, currently, Blake Gordon's almost a half second faster.
But with 14 to go, I'm not 100% certain. Now that Blake is in clean air, even though Justin has what looks to be the same opportunity to draft off of people that Blake was having. But their lap traffic is going to play a massive role in this battle to the end, as Adam Wood makes his way up. And Adam is unfortunately currently running so deep that I can't find him in the standings.
He's 19th.
19th. After showing such promise earlier in the race, that pit stop kind of ruined the night.
Yeah. That pit stop messed up things for him. So not good for him. Looking at, how about let's kick back to Joe Dinsmore real fast. Looks like he's battling right now, right around Brandon Bernhardt, Greg Wellen. Those three going at it right now. Currently,
all three of them on the
Yep.
same strategy with 1 lap differential, to where Greg Wellen has 1 extra lap to give on these tires. But it's looking like we're seeing a little bit of a repeat of Wednesday night between Brandon and Joe.
Yeah, and those guys have the freshest tires on the track right now, and they're going to need to use them, because right now, Joe Dinsmore just got up to the 10th position. They really need to try to get into the top 10 if they want to try to, ensure that they're going to have a relatively comfortable week next week.
Well, let's jump up a little farther, as Tony Pandon and Teddy Weichel also battling it out, trying to catch up to Joshua Hanner, who's currently hunting down Steve Gottschalk with tires that have evened out at this point. To where these two are running basically the same lap. The last lap, actually, Joshua Hanner was a little bit slower.
Man, that is not what I am seeing. On my view, it's showing that Hanner was 2 tenths faster.
I keep looking at the best. I need to hide that. God,
So Hanner is a bit faster right now. 2 tenths is fairly significant. He should be able to get around Gottschalk if all things stay the same.
I just want to call out right now that Brian McFerrin last pitted on lap 76, still in the lead of this race, followed by Jason Swan, who is now under pressure from Justin Anderson. These guys, I don't know if they were just holding out hope for that late race caution, but kudos to Brian on this one.
Hey, why not at this point? Like, you're not racing in the chase or in the the playoffs. Like, the only thing you're really out there to do is try to get a win. I mean, sure, good finish in the standings, like, that's great, but why not? I'd probably do the same thing in their position, to be honest.
I gotta call this one out. There's Justin Anderson with Adam Wood right behind him, and Blake Gordon closing in. Is Adam going to try to play blocker for Justin right here?
Well, Adam should be faster as Brian McFerrin is coming in now. Justin Anderson will cycle out to our lead, but Adam should be faster than Justin Anderson right now. So I am curious to see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, Adam Wood is rocking 8-lap older tires than both of these guys.
Wait, you said Adam Wood is?
Yes, Adam Wood has 8-lap newer tires. Sorry.
Newer tires, yeah. So he may just be trying to stay out of the way.
Well, but right now he can take that top line away from Blake Gordon, making it to where he's got to put a little extra heat into those Goodyears, letting Adam run the top, or Justin run the preferred line, but kind of keep Blake behind him, as that's what just happened.
Yeah, that's some teamwork there. as Adam's going high here. We'll have to see if Adam's actually going to try to complete the pass. You would expect it. I mean, it is still racing. You're not out there trying to block for teammates, and I don't think that's what Adam's doing. But hey, if you can help a teammate,
wow,
we're going 3 wide.
3 wide, and that's going to be advantage Blake. But he's also got to get around Adam Wood right there. But
well, at this point, he doesn't have to get around Adam Wood now, but I think he will.
But Justin Anderson's also fighting with David Naughton, who backs off out of this. Oh, this is going to be a fun one to the end.
Yeah. The expectation would be, it's like, okay, well, Blake Gordon has fresher tires. He should be able to get, just pull away here. But as long as Justin Anderson can stay in the draft, I mean, I wouldn't count anything out at this point.
I wouldn't either, as Justin's taking the very aggressive line, getting himself all the way down, gets himself around Adam Wood, takes the very bottom line, the shortest way around the track, pops back up, gets himself into the draft. He's only got 2 laps to go. We're white the next time around.
Yeah, we're a lap and a half at this point. If Justin Anderson's going to do something, he's going to do it in a hurry.
And I don't think that he's going to have the speed, especially as he's fighting with Brian McFerrin, who's trying to get himself back up onto the lead lap.
Well, I was about to say, it's not much of a fight as white flag comes out. Brian McFerrin just faster right there.
And right now he goes up to the top line, but barring anything that would just be an act of God, this is Blake Gordon's race. He's going to go ahead, take the win. Second in a row in the chase. Blake Gordon wins the race.
Oh, Adam Wood going through the infield.
Yeah, why not? But Blake Gordon is our winner tonight, and apparently Adam Wood crashed, but we kind of already knew that one.
Yeah.
Followed by Justin Anderson, who gets off, Steve Gottschalk, Joshua Hanner in 4th, and Joe Dinsmore in 5th, as we're waiting for the last few cars to make their way around, as we have our results officially. All right, Blake Gordon is our winner. Second place is Justin Anderson. The final step on the podium is Steve Gottschalk. 4th is Joshua Hanner. 5th, Joe Dinsmore. 6th, Greg Wellen. Brandon Bernhardt's in 7th. Tony Pandon in 8th. Teddy Weichel in 9th. And Kevin Haas in 10th.
In 11th, we have Sean Carmody. 12th is Kevin Pearson. 13th, Brian McFerrin. 14th is Ross Gage. In 15th, we have Ed Springer. 16th is Jason Swan. 17th, David Naughton. 18th, Adam Wood. In 19th, Dan Witt. And in 20th, Mike Bass.
All right, 21st is Andrew Burgess. 22nd, Randy Pepper. 23rd, Mike Burgess. 24th is Timothy St. Jean. And 25th is Gael Brooks, who did not turn a lap. All right, let's go ahead and bring up our twice winner in this round, Mr. Blake Gordon. Hey, Blake, this is Josh and Carl in the booth. You got a copy?
I sure do, guys. What's going on tonight?
You don't sound as happy as you did last week.
Oh, man. Well, if you could hear Discord or just, me by myself in my living room there, coming to the checkers, I was pretty pumped. I was hyped, man.
Yeah, I was about to say it sounded like he was grinning, but I have to ask you how you feel about yourself. You robbed anybody else of being able to punch a guaranteed ticket to the next round, especially if you're going to do as well at Martinsville as we kind of expect you to.
Yeah, I mean that's always the goal, make everyone else fight for the leftover spot. So I mean, yeah, I know guys tonight were really looking to get that win to lock themselves into the next round. And I was in the team chat earlier with the strategy call at the beginning of the race. I'm like, I'm locked in. I have a little bit of an opportunity to gamble here, and it really didn't look like it was going to work out. But yeah, it feels great to get another win here in this second to last round. And yeah, Martinsville, I'm sure, is going to be fun with everyone trying to fight for those last 3 spots.
Well, I want to ask you about that strategy. You guys, kind of went on a different cycle with tires, than the rest of the field. Did the race play out exactly to your strategy? Like, is that what you were hoping for, or did it not, and then just still worked out?
The second yellow is really kind of what put us on the right strategy. We knew tires were going to be important, so that first pit stop at lap 20, I'm like, I think it's too early for tires. So then took fuel only, came out, immediately went right to the back, and it was pretty bad. And I was like, well, man, that was really stupid. Why did I do that? But then I was telling the team, I'm like, I'm not as frustrated considering, I had that win last week. This race, even if it goes poorly, I'm still in the next round no matter what. And then the yellow came out. And then came in, got tires, and then even on 10-lap fresher tires, like blew through the field. It was incredible how much fresh tires actually helped out there. And then was able to put a gap on Justin for the first cycle of green flag pit stops, and then let him go enough laps on his tires so that way when I came back out on fresh tires, I could see how long it would take me to close that gap down and pass him, which told me everything I needed to know for the end of the race. I knew I needed to come out with at least 15 or 20 laps to catch him if he undercut me again, and it just worked out. I mean, even after my pit stop, had we had a yellow flag, I think I would have been in good shape because I still would have been on fresher tires. So, yeah, somehow everything just kind of went our way tonight.
No, it was a great run, and the talk of the night was definitely your pit strategy. I will be the first to say it was probably the best call because you didn't we were going to, at that exact moment, going to still have 3 stops.
Yeah, for sure. And I was in the team chat going, wow, I'm an idiot. This is not going to work out. If we go green, I'm screwed because I'm going to lose so much track position. By the time we pit, I'm never going to make it back up on fresh tires. So, yeah, that yellow flag really bailed us out there because me and poor Sean, had dragged him onto the same strategy, whether he liked it or not. He just kind of went with me no matter what there, and luckily it worked out for him too.
It looked like he was going to be able to make it work exactly like you, but I think his problem ended up being he had to fight through more traffic to get himself up to where I think his highest position was 3rd tonight, to where he just had to battle too hard to where the advantage was just gone by the time he was running alone.
Yeah, I think there was also like an issue on pit road, like he pit and then ended up losing like 2 spots. And then just with the way the pit cycle came out, I don't know if he was not as aggressive getting on the pit road and then off. I thought for sure I got myself another speeding penalty on the last stop. This pit road entry is pretty tricky, so I'm not sure what happened to Sean there. But yeah, I think had he, nailed everything perfect, got through traffic as well, I think he would have been in line for a top 5 easy tonight, being on that same strat.
Well, yeah, that was for sure, man. It was awesome watching you out there. I know we had a great time with it, and you've watched my broadcast. I love it whenever anybody mixes up the pit strategy and does something different. So it was a blast to watch you tonight, man.
Yeah, thank you. Some nights it works, some nights it doesn't. Tonight it worked out. Had we not had that second yellow, I think it would have not worked out. But, got the break there, got the fresh tires, and then let me tell you what, driving through the field in fresh tires was really fun. I know probably pissed a couple guys off, but I knew I had to get to Justin and then put as big of a gap as I could on him before the tires balanced out, because they did. Once I got in front of them, we equalized at like 3 seconds. So I knew I had to cut through the field, get to them as quickly as possible, get that gap going, and then man, the last run, I was driving my ass off trying to catch up to them. That was some of the hardest driving I've had to do on a 1.5 miles. So yeah, glad it all worked out.
No, it was a great run. We'll let you get back to partying with your team, even though it's just Sean at this point.
Okay.
But we'll look forward to chatting with you next week, because it's Martinsville, and
yeah,
as long as you keep the car clean, we should be chatting with you.
Yeah, as long as, don't spin the tires on the initial start of the race or anything like that, right?
Ooh, also need to make sure you don't have VR issues.
Yeah, that's all cleared up. It's been a rough week for the league races, so I'm glad tonight went well.
All right, well, hey, it was great talking with you tonight.
Thanks, guys. Thanks as always for doing the broadcast, and hopefully I'm chatting with you guys maybe even tomorrow night.
All right, possibly. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we'll see. You guys have a good one. See you.
All right, next up is Mr. Justin Anderson. Hey, Justin, this is Josh and Carl in the booth. You got a copy?
I do indeed. How y'all doing?
Not bad. A lot of an interesting strategy race from you tonight. What was going through your head with the short pits?
So the first caution, we had like 20 laps, and so we could have made it on 2 more stops. So I was hoping the rest of the race would go green. Obviously, we had the other caution, which allowed Blake to get on fresher tires. And then I just tried to break it up into kind of more manageable segments after that. So when we went green from the second caution on lap like 35 or 37, I don't remember what lap it was, I kind of did the math about what would the rest of the race look like, and that's kind of how I broke the pit stops up after that.
Yeah, it looked like maybe if you would have waited ever so slightly more, it may have been more of an advantage, but just Blake on the fresher tires, there seemed to be nothing you could do.
Yeah, Blake having the fresher tires from that caution, there really wasn't anything I could do. I wish that we would have had either one more caution or had not had that other caution, so that Blake and I could have been on even tires, because I feel like I could have raced with him.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly saw that, especially early in the race. I mean, speed-wise, you guys were, pretty consistently close to each other. But, one thing I want to ask about, pit strategy, you came in, you said, you can make it on 2 more stops. Obviously, there was a, limit on tires. Was there some, internal thoughts or even discussion with the team on that first stop to do the opposite strategy?
Oh, you mean under the first caution?
The first caution, yeah, when you guys came in.
Yeah, it was a debate whether we were going to change tires or not, and I really felt like so Blake is known for Blake cautions, so I felt like if we had done that strategy where we hadn't changed tires, I felt like it was more of I wanted to win the race, obviously, but I really needed to finish ahead of everybody else in the chase so that Martinsville didn't turn into a must-win. So when I knew that the rest of basically my team was going to change tires, I kind of just followed the same strategy that they were on so that I could do my best to finish ahead of them. That was kind of my goal, was to be the highest of the chasers who weren't already locked in like Blake is.
Yeah, and, speaking of the points, I mean, this was a great night for you. The points have been updated. You're currently in second. But looking at it, you have...
6 points to fifth.
6 points, yeah, 6 points. So that's a narrow gap there. Obviously, a little bit of weight taken off your shoulders for next week, but what's your thought process going into next week?
So Martinsville, Blake will probably win 3 in a row, but Martinsville has always been a really good track for me. I think I finished like first or second the last several races in the league there. So I always enjoy Martinsville. It is kind of a crapshoot, especially if the race kind of goes south, which unfortunately some of our races at Martinsville have. So some of it will be track position, some of it will be when you choose to pit, and then some of it will be speed. But I feel like at Martinsville specifically, I'm fast enough, if that makes sense.
Well, and you say that you have 6 points to fifth. You realize that it's only 7th to 7th, or 7 to 7th. At this point.
No, I'm not sure what you mean.
Brandon Bernhardt is only 7 points behind you in 7th place.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
in all reality, Martinsville is gonna be crazy.
It is. Like I said, I love the track. It'll be interesting to see how clean or not the race is. I have managed to run clean, like finish the race with clean cars the past few times that I've been there. So I'm just hopeful that luck continues through this race as well.
I mean, it's Martinsville. You don't really need a clean car to make it to the end, but I understand what you mean.
You do need a car that can turn. That's about it.
Or one that can turn based off the bumper of the car in front of you, I guess.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, there
are a few people in this league that I would not mind shoving out of the way, so that's, whatever.
And this is why I don't run with you, Justin.
You wouldn't be up front for me to push out of the way, Josh. Carl would, though.
That's not entirely true. I mean, you might be
Just
lapping. You could be lapping him, or there's a lot of scenarios you could be passing him.
Oh shush! I love both of you.
We
Well,
know,
hey, man,
and that's why I'm not giving you any crap about your football team today.
Hey, I did better than they did, so that's fine. Although I guess technically they finished second in the game.
Exactly. I wasn't going to say it. I was baiting you to say it.
But no, congrats to Blake. He really was fast tonight, so it wasn't only the strategy that got him the win. He deserved it as well. It's good to see Steve up front. Hannah ran well, so it was the green flag racing was actually a lot of fun. I felt bad for Adam that he struggled to get on pit road the first green flag stop, but it was a pretty good race all the way around. So it's good to see kind of the improvement from some of the people, and it was good to see the chasers kind of rise to the top. So I don't know. I'm happy with the way the race went.
I definitely, unfortunately, we got to see firsthand Adam's issue.
Yeah.
Which is why we should just stop covering Adam so he just doesn't have issues.
Was he on camera when he's...
Yes.
Stop that!
He was in the lead of the race. Of course we had to watch him.
He's your boss. He's going to fire the crap out of both of you.
Wait, he's our boss?
No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, if he's our boss, I'm still waiting on a paycheck.
Volunteer. You're an intern.
Well, hey man, it was great talking with you tonight. We'll let's put you back with your team and
take some of your team away.
Thanks for the broadcast as always, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep, not a problem. Thank you, sir.
Have a good one.
All right, now for Mr. Steve Gottschalk. Hey, Steve, this is Josh and Carl in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Josh and Carl. How you guys doing?
None too bad. We actually got to see your rise to the top today.
Awesome. I was going to tease you guys about that, but too late.
We didn't give you an opportunity. Because, no, it was one of those immaculate runs to where, unfortunately, we got to see you trying to put in your qualifying lap and watch it cut right as you were crossing the line.
It was so frustrating. Well, I had a little bathroom emergency just as we were getting to the end of practice, and I figured it was either do something about it then or risk having to go during the race. So that got me late starting my qualifying, and I thought maybe I'd get in one lap. And as you guys saw, I was literally
close.
I was like 6 car lengths away from the start-finish line.
But no, even with the early incident, still managing to get yourself up onto the podium, it was an amazing run.
Thank you. I don't even really know how I did it. I think a lot of it was the strategy that I used on when to pit under green, but I feel like I figured something out during the race, kind of like last week, on how to save tires. I feel like I was doing really well on the long run, so that helped a lot. But yeah, that I really thought I was a goner after that wreck.
Well, and right now, you are in third in the chase standings, if only by a point.
Woohoo!
Actually, you're currently tied, but you're only one out of second because, of course, Blake with 2 wins is going to be... He could not show up next week, and even despite the wins giving you the automatic advancement, he'd still probably be safe.
Yeah, Blake he's hogging all the wins.
Well, so, we know that Blake Gordon is very strong at short tracks, in Martinsville especially. You don't have much of a points cushion here. Sure, you're sitting in third, but there is not much of a gap there between you and fifth. What is your strategy going into next week?
Basically, just try and keep the car in one piece and qualify as close to the front as I can. I can usually put pretty good laps down at Martinsville. Things don't always go so well for me in the race because a lot of times people misjudge braking, and my braking tends to be a little bit more conservative than some people are expecting. But I mean, if I can keep the car in one piece, I think I have a chance. It's really tough. I mean, we got the final 8 are just incredibly good drivers, and to have it that close going into Martinsville where anything can happen, it's going to be tough.
No, I hear you. I'm looking forward to it because, I mean, the storyline writes itself that unfortunately Adam had his issues, but the top 7, well, basically from 2nd to 7th, it's such a small margin that it can be decided by 1 position.
Yeah, okay.
Not to put the pressure on.
It's funny. I looked at that going into tonight, and I think we were all 8 really close to each other. Of course, Blake had the win, so he doesn't really count. But, damn. I mean, it's just, throw a blanket over us. It's going to be, you're just going to have to try and stay out of trouble, which is not always easy at Martinsville.
No, it's not.
I hope we have at least a decent setup, because a lot of times at that track, it's the low downforce, high horsepower package, and it's with some of the setups that we've had, it's really easy to loop the car coming off the turn. So I hope that we have at least some grip on exit.
No, I'm looking forward to next week. We wish you the best of luck. Don't give us too hard of a time on Tuesday, please.
Thanks, guys. Oh, and Josh, where were you last Tuesday? Because, I feel like you kind of chickened out.
Oh, you didn't see the post? My entire city was had no power for 16 hours starting at 3:30 Tuesday afternoon.
Oh, my God. So what did you do to cause that?
First Energy decided to set a pole on fire.
Damn.
We have First Energy is also the name of Josh's shell company. So that's who set the pole on fire.
If First Energy was my shell company, I wouldn't be doing this.
You'd be sitting home raking in the bucks.
I would be quite literally I would only race, and I would never work because billion-dollar company. Enough to sponsor the Browns stadium, so that's dumpster fires, whatever you want to call it. It's fitting.
Well, I'm sorry that we missed you on Tuesday. I was looking forward to that. And
I was too.
Carl, you did other than maybe one slip up, you did a good job just kind of, staying on track and making laps, and that turned out good for you.
Yeah, that was the goal, just trying to figure that car out. For anyone that's watching doesn't know, we're running an IndyCar series that Steve's covering, and having a blast with it so far, learning a lot about those cars, and it's been a lot of fun running with those guys.
Yeah, it's fun watching you guys and being on the other side for a change. Before you guys let me go, I just want to say congrats to Blake on the win, and Justin on a great second place. Those guys are incredibly tough competition. Josh Hanner, thank you for running me so clean at the end. I was really worried I wasn't going to be able to hold him off, but I think maybe my air might have made it difficult for him to get a run on me. That's it. I'm sorry what happened to Adam, because he was tough and he should be up there fighting for it too, which, he still could win next week. So
Yeah, we'll have to see. But hey, as always, pleasure talking with you, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk with you next week.
likewise, and thank you guys for the broadcast.
Not a problem, sir.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Yep.
All right, that was Steve Gottschalk. And how about I run through our schedule for the remainder of the week? Tomorrow night, 9 p.m., the Jeff Hill Trailer Sales Fuel Premier Series kicks off their playoffs at Road Atlanta. Tuesday night at 7 p.m., the IVRL Butt Kicker Series visits Martinsville for the final race of the round of 8. Only 4 will be advancing to the final race of the season next week. Wednesday night at 8 p.m., the final race of the round of 12 in the AOLL Sportsman Series hits Homestead Miami Speedway. Thursday night at 8 p.m., the AOLL TNT Series visits Southern National with only 3 races remaining in the final season of the year. Friday night at 8 p.m., tune in for the Ghostfire Media Podcast. We'll have some guests on and talk some crap about Nick and have a great time doing it. And 1 week from today, Sunday night, 8 p.m., the AOLL Cup Series visits Martinsville in the final race of the round of 8. Josh, you got anything else for us?
Nope, it's going to be a great week of racing. Make sure, check us out. It's going to be amazing as always. But from everyone here at Ghostfire Media, have yourselves a good evening.
Thank you for watching iRacing on the Ghostfire Media Network.